Who's Vibe GH. Now, if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button so that anytime we drop a video, you'll be the first to watch.
Yeah, Bonwire Kente Weaving Center. Now, area where your name papa and Mr. Seju Babet Jim Como Afa. Send on Muye Kente, Bonwire has say, I was Asante Mime. Into it, me Akan. Abako Sem Kakra, Efa, send a movie Kente no, Bonwire has say.
Okay, many of our medals. Said what Dick Akan sanity. Kente Bonwire Crude, a Jumadi Titra, a Kente Nene. Nana Bako Sam na, and Nanama ever 2 years. Nina could na, Yananum Yunua, or Bakudin de Kwache Amayao, and our Bakonso County Upuku Kragu. No more Abomofua, Moko Remo Eco Pet, and Moabefi, Mamodi again. And the Omoko Ramudako Moko Musa Anansi, and Tentan. Na announce we na or dance from the who free if you know. And I understand now they and Tentan so a dance. Into Muja Shabwane Kaka into Muja Hobefi. Did the next day no Mokwana wanted my and Tentana mana cover the whole area. Aya kama. Into Mubefi no. Sir Abuakito etiman and India to say at my bibi to say I didn't think so at least. Yen ye bibi and so bibina and ye bibi and free. It's a mobile fee. Now the Omo Edikayans or mobile per a homa. Satamana ye machine idea container and nay friend in Sediano. And the first stage, you know, we say no and Sediano. Sabra and said in ho. And the first stage in the Omo and say, Omo per a homa. And to Omo buy a homana. Omo the Bafon Monaco Bako Bafana Bakofa. Then no marble body a show Omunica, now Matali a show mu. And to Ombe Bibi to say the Omo lazy or Momon Pabuano. And to Omo Omutimina Bibi to some insa Tien. My friend Ayase Entoma. Because a mobile boy on the show my ass. And if you are no Omoko Manim, Omoko ped that Dwamiansa. Into Omo Pedrianom de Dadwami Nubonisea. No de Bako Ababoha. No more the about to that duano HC. Was the first one? Our mom we used to just one, not trade near one pet. But I'll show you now to say trade and assassin Edos in Bibri. And today we know so more running. I'm a woman and tomato tray, Kakati Semen say.
You say a few way about see.
That's right. And Janos, and we have time in India and I'm with me a bubble and said, Jaya, and one a gusu idea Kintino. A carpenter near own free code me out to me mobile. Unless he have more ideas, a choir will be for Timafaso above their mind.
Okay, it's the same to mana we used to deal with no. And to mana ya de Pama Diano, and we be an answer way and to my different.
Yes, now ya de a Kintino.
What friend is saying?
Yes, and a homa. So Momo Krebi and a deba.
Fact, you know, is it Accra?
Accra. Yeah, Accra. Omuna ye ahomana my idea Kintino. And they be a over town mano in the shop. For who? Our man oko shop koto Senate. Senate was shop no. And I can before answer now they can tell you grab a band said James Obeneno. It had to go through a lot of process. And near my baby, I was a continue from. Ya were entene entoma. Ya can't entoma now, our maya. Ya lay wa haya. And only a friend entene entoma. Ya lay I could see no one. And only a friend entene entoma. And do go town man what shop net to see ya. Ya were ya buy be a friend of Ankonam. And no now they sa well, maybe 2 years and animal. Any penny for son or more friend. It's all the money basis so. Now I spread it, you are baby so assisting outside. Over spread the yarns no on it. And do spread the we now number figure or pa. In your calculation kakla.
Sir.
Calculation woman. That's right. Kinte in your calculation. This answer Osha calculation in your answer Jinasa Abawi. Osha holes womb. Until over counted the number of holes. No holes were a containing and sana wakotene ahoma no.
Every time be the same number na say whole every time be calculation is the same thing.
There be holes no ubetima na be 100. Ubetima na be 90. Ebi kwa 103. Nti also otimi kan ansa na wakotene ntoma no. Ezansa amando do na open o de be hye sa holes no. Nti say wantima nya that figure na wakotene a eda say beboro so na ahoma ne bia ye waste anase enduru space ni bi beka. Nti ne hia say also count to holes na ansa na wakwatene.
Okay, so see I show around I say more Kinte different colors a bright pan by a sun tuntum to say share this side I tuntum inti bibi na inspire mo ema mo yes colors na say eba wa dream na why color no.
The tiane say na make Kinte abakosem no. The initial stage in kwani any those this colorful yarns no ewo ho. Na color available to us and it was plain white, near any black, near any yellow, any colors in the yehu. And the Osha Tobacco same night, the first Kente clover, Yana Nanamutimi and Yetimi Frano, or mobile friend Akroma Fufu, simply because it was plain white, na color beer in them. And Yana Otun 4 at that time, now you Otun 4 or say to the first. On the share Yana Nanamun cry say. Omo something colorful. It's answered the question plain white. And to Omo buy what they did was be natural dye. And the mana a plain white no. Ombe natural dye no they dye a homano ebenya so many colors. Who say ne sa natural dye no ne uko Ntonso in group bebrima. Omo da so use natural dye no. Where the traditional colors normally can be na use red, yellow, green, black, blue. And on the colors are normally can be use black and blue. And on the colors are normally not use super adi kente. They in India and then near my air question and amount for the so many colors. Back in 10 years. This is over to my wabon also be at my fro. Me Kinte, but me person DB navy blue and peach. Hey, mammy. Customers and on aboy. Amana so many colorful Kente cloth in the young. Met my car at the abosi as Bonwire for you say Kente if you bonre. By a car and nwentoma in free bonre. Is as our head and Ghanaian Israel Krana now or more quiet for so and nwentoma. Into the northern part of Ghana is the influence almost tire. Almost so a year or montoma. Yeah, no near friendly Kente. And you have Fugu since I hear. Really, dear, and running. And the Koma Union Muslim for no more. The reason why I told we were asking a tourist center. And I did be a handiwork. And your machine made a and San Wadibiano. Yeditumuha. And Untina wants a Fugu baby since I ha. Yen so air tone.
Kinte she has saying in so you were near and near I knew and yes our bag. I and also the beats I intend so more than Muyawa has say.
Yeah.
It's a question boring and yet Kente kwa musaya other things.
Yeah, and you can say no kwa. You will you will be a say Osha dear damn say ya. Nina Krumi Hayani. We beasts in Ketengete. Yes, na konina na the true din. A din be up piano. A bit my a true din guso at the amount. Nina ye bonre, yensan or dumani ebia. Yeah.
Kente say person wo church and Kente no be din. Kente mo ahudo. See, ye she has say ya e will be one ye different times see. In yan kabe church and e bi mu din.
Okay. The best and the best as for me Kente a minu eh. Ohe Kente we are Kente we near freno. Sikega. Another golden stool. Symbol no. Kente we ni din different years Sikega. Ohe stool no ene the gold na ya edidem no. I think that we all know the story about the golden stool of the Asante. Yeah, he said that you can take when you did two Asante man Sikega. And you can take crime needing a different. And I Oba Hensua. Okay. Kente way is one of the traditional Kente clover. It is so common in the system. Your friend of Edwin Asa And I can tell you the history behind it and say, Kinte my and number friend a grandson say, a blah no more yes this particular part, you know. Now my dream no more dream say a dreaming in asa. Design for be a entity maybe. It's no my friend say a dreaming asa. A dreaming a designer a woman. Just a design a woman in asa. Design for be a man. Now on him say, na my for be by young son. Yet the designs ebeba. And no more mutuni ding a dreaming asa. You sure can tell me so. Your friend Osna or young core or town. A diwi, aye, a dear can tell me a different or no. Oh, hey, we are to Nisa called the blah or yet engagement. A can tell me no you see at the end engagement. Osna young core town. Your fellow gifty auntie. Me patronyo. And tomorrow na ni din order and your friend address so. Na the entire be ni din be nya din gifty auntie na say. Address so na the and tomorrow order da enipa bebre nim. Ba na colors combination ni design combination na nya see na ti. Nti ebra ye maame efra ye no. And I'm say ono no you obi a wo din o man mu no. This will be never won TV so no PBA. Wasn't be a me Kinte na if you anti fry any be. And from that, and no air cosona and my edino, ebe bata no one Kinte we, baby abagas a open gift anti piano, who be a who can take crowd at the archery. Kinte we so your friend Obapa. We the morning days Kinte Croft. Na man for Kinte ya abaibia. We a friend Obapa. Kinte we so your friend Obama Cloth. And Obama. The dino ebe Obama yes former president of the US Oba Ghana no. Kinte type we say any de man no. And the so obi obehu ope bibia no. Me Kinte na dem Obama ni bi ana medino abekaso. Obama Cloth normally there and say yes single weaving then we do the embroidery on top of it. And the embroidery Kinte Cloth will be an your friend Obama Cloth. Yeah. Kinte we your friend Odonfin Padie. Odonfin Padie Kinte on so many designs. We your friend Odonfin Padie say me can Odonfin Padie and we no across HH in hu. Aha, nti hiama nti mu bia abiem. Yeah. That's right. We so your friend Emily Power anim. Emily Power mo abomu. That's right. As long as I'm quandas woman there, Emily Pa, our ho at the mouth. Ye so Emily Pa or name Bia, there were in so many forms. And I can tell you so your friend of Makuma Swadi. And away your friend Teliza. Former President Kofo and Yere Teliza and a Kinte we a tono.
And to say, you say you about Kinte business, no, echo saying.
Well, Kinte business in a day, I can say a yala. Bank a bit me, Akon and Nimachin see. Nina, and Yaman Kinte Kitibia. Or mine be boy na yet me a see no coin. It misses Sanya Manokwan dia. You say, Ebe Kinte business in Ebekon and Nimu pa.
It is a near Ben son and say, oh, mine ye mamu, I'm Kinte business now calling him.
And your money be a sir. As a medical can make us a Kinte yans and factory be one kind. And ye clubby. By any name, Kamako and said, Dear Clano, a more. A time, dear Yeno or my mono. And the crack in Yamano, Nimana Mobay, no.
Okay.
Unse ni nya locally made ni amani de ni nyina ye to Ghana ba yarns in particular no ni nyina ye kra nti the more na dollar rate in air kosro no na yarns ne price air kosro e ko ba ne sanso akente ni price be kosro ndi so obi kura ni di kente ho anam se kente bo e dintin ontimi metobi ba ya de yarns no e locally made ye ne ha na ne price no ye moderate e wo form na kente ni bo no e ba form a midide ampasanka ne purchase no ebe kosro achen ne die hu enti obi ba ha no ntimi nto the rare kente cloth no come market no betima to entoma ne de na elfo na obeja we ni to no akoto material wine no tie no so ama market no aba from kakra
you say when my single ones no different from say mobile can bo na you say and I'm turn it separately.
The tie say kente bia ye ne ntiantia te say de wo hu yenye kente bia kese dialect kente bia hu bia ye be ntia sei ewia ne atoyebo ase akeka bo ho ama na ye kakalaka bia ope
mo keka bo ho say mo pam na mo ye ne say
ye pam initially ne de pania de pam esi e batim si ya na pam be ni no eno na content back what ma pam na bia ba ko be ni no say demand of kente na kosro ana kente adoso enti no ye de machine ena pam emaye ekeka bo ho ede maye
machine bi wa
me ba cho bi okrum he ya by dem de bi ni asisi a
but edem hankwa na mo ni kente no okrum a
me ba cho da bi ye kro duam ya okofie bia mu a obonhu se obi ye kente wo ho ana mfuchile bia obonhu se obi to a oye kente na bia ha se no de akoye se government no see am for tourist purpose. Say nka buy nka ntimi move from house to house. And kohwe obi oye kente and I won't take kente abasem abakosem. The government that be see say ho bia person hu kente ho abakosem bia omra ha. Ba enya ha nkwan so ne ye kente. Ukofie bia ma bo hu anuanom bia omo ye kente no bi ewo ho.
Say prices near saying motor is saying
ye kente ne prices no Ningina depended patterns na a woman. Once I continue, there were 3 types of the kente weave, the pine and a single weaving. Single weaving on a plain kente cloth as design being. The next stage, you're double weaving. Double weaving or bapa kente, an example of the double weaving. The double weaving at the upper chain, I say, kente be our design womb. But still now who plain parts and so woman a double weaving. So we honey plain and a design a waha. Into any a double weaving. The contain so they are board then pie a triple weaving. A year gift anti type unibino. And only kinta and a board a then pa na kinte parts and crack open and a big determine the price. And only a double.
Where a double?
A double because the car background now. Also shaking here. Red, yellow, green and a background. About the main clover, you still see the background in the cloth. And then we know a double with Osha background yeah, a blue. And I'm a triple. And I will take you a lot of time. Then I win the price and I was
okay, Mr. Said you say that was so it's me amount who quite my interview issues. But Namisha pie that was so. I mean, it's really interesting. You really have to be here to witness how this thing is going on. So, Eja, say the Misha, so why you busy pound? Okay, it is say Kente weaving in red door send away to me. I Juma way like for how many years?
About my 10 years.
Just saying fear do. Okay. Say just your way.
About my brother been a children.
I say I will fear and I will wish you more.
Kennedy Obia free Krumuhabia when he said yes, he can take this occasion wins and also be young one day. A veteran one won't and me brap and in a cherema.
Okay, in Siciano, how many hours now? It's not the Ejuma way.
Oh, I was in India. Ye Baha, me Baha be 6 o'clock. And says, you know, be out so I won't say I at Ejuma. nti wote so a na ya wapagya mu kakra nti wo ha na wasa aba nti eno de ya na ye ntan check ya wesen but ye wo break wo e bia mvan so te so abo be ten na wapagya mu kakra nti metran so akom se abo be 5:30 to 6 na jese mapon am bi kofia.
Okay, ene da wase pa. Eje da wase.
Na gu no kusini ba untuk mana ngora dia mana ngora sawi makan jadi mana so sawi dia apa namanya ngora makan no opposition hanya fase mo watching do now. Yes, push it back.
Guys, so you see she's trying her best to do something small. You say mema quantity erin kente no ade emma abako sembi wo ha emma se so mo kente ana.
Oh tete no ye nana no ka kire emma ne se onwunu kente na wonwo ba de ye hu ne se na nya no kore na akoye bibi se se oba ye adwuma na be man so ye adwuma na wo modwene se wan na obehwe nkola no e wo fi enu nti na ma wo modwina so mo de to ma ni tirimu se onwunu kente na wonye dai onwo ba si nimdie ne ba ne hu se de omo kan na nya no kondisi wo emma bi wo ha omo so mo sua omo de ayo modwuma bat omo no so
na so mu ni bi wa ha no
ni bi wa ha se sa
it does. Inti guys, some kente papa kente a osha obi abehu say eyefa eno ani Bonwire Kente.
This is Campus Vibe GH. Now if you're watching us for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and click on the notification button so that anytime we drop a video, you'll be the first to